5. Mayan calendar. 1. Calendar Maya, el calendario Maya, repetitive and circular time, communicated much about the Mayan calendar for many years. They were invented to Mayan Zodiac systems. As he is invoked, King Maya, this is terrible, this slavery astrological signs. So that both I speculate, but nothing ever happened, and stepped by the 21st of December 2012, when the Maya calendar said that the world were about the end of time, and the end of humanity, and the end of the world, and then the end, and nothing happened. Also always heard talk about the end of the world by prophets, seers, and even the Mayas themselves spoke of the end of the world. And the end game is always pre-said, and even in the Mayan calendar. So long time ago they said, but I wouldn't say predicted, instead I would say settled with certainty, due to his ability of the Anunnakis to manipulate the unsigned people and the way of seeing the universe from the inner dimension. At the time circular Maya, we humans, the consequences of events, and of course the realization that everything is rather pre-programmed, which is also defined as pre-ordered by the mental matrix system, and that we are actually living what has already been said, designed, placed previously in the matrix. 2. Human being of original soul. What is not expected is more interesting when they say that everything ends. That is what was not expected in the end. It was the human soul original, the real being. In the planetary Kundalini in the south of the world to research, there's a question that many original soul human beings ask. Does that happen? What about us? To those who will be, what do we do? Do all really ends? And what perhaps the end could be perceived in the context that everything is destroyed to nothing, that nothing would exist, that the trees would be lost, that the world would be lost, that the universe would be lost, the human beings are not going to become, and until that point could be true all of this. But what has not been expected, there is something at the end, and that is what does not is expected. At the end of time, at the end of the world, at the end of human beings, which the Mayan calendar could not understand, that it was his own end, and therefore the Mayan calendar is that ends, with all its traditions and its circular times repeated, because awareness that transcends the time Maya is spiral exists. Then we humans of original soul, which remain, is who we are in the planetary Kundalini, in the Andes mountain, in the south of the world. Free, who we are, do like souls, not defined by this world. It is not defined by the universe, not defined by other human beings. It's not defined by the land. It is not defined by anything. Example, in the existence of matrix for this case. And at this moment the Mayan calendar was linked or equalized and designed, and according to every human being, Maya's own definition. And they had of himself in the Mayan world. Their lives, their experiences, for orientated for himself and for each principle. There is a finish just inside the matrix. But who we are, it is the beginning and the end. Fascinating. And the Mayan calendar in terms of 2012 prediction, that is a prediction, but not the end of a beginning. And the end of what we have, allowed and desired by ourselves, to participate in this world as consciousness, pre-scheduled and preordinated system, which is what we have expected and allowed, to convert us. And not only are we, is everything because we are in it. We exist like this, basically so that the Mayan calendar predicts is the end of this present matrix mind consciousness existence, are the children of the sixth sun that is in their latitudes but not in the Andes. The planetary Kundalini lines in the souls of the beings of the seventh sun, la séptima sol, septimus sol. But what the purpose is not fully understood, means the end of what all have allowed in all, of what we have agreed, to end of many things. But that doesn't mean the end, or the end of everything. Actually do as a soul free is because I am do, and do I am here, and I am not defined for an Mayan calendar or to anyone. Then two remain, and that's the realization that every human being must transcend. What you have to do is let go of this world. You have to let go of the universe here. Let your humans, beings, you have to let go of relationship within the matrix, in the form you have within the matrix, and transform or rechange the relationship we have within the matrix with real hermandad within the sacred real family we are. Because otherwise it will have been hard, really hard, in terms of what which exists and exists in this existence. A circle of time. At this time it will stop, or it will not exist as it is now, because the spiral time comes to an end. Para siempre, forever. ¿Quién está cambiándose? Who is changing? We are changing. We are all always been here. But what we have allowed and accepted, the matrix, and that is what begins to change in terms of a complete pre-programmed design mathematically. Equalized existence comes to an end. Because the matrix program is not infinite, it is a program that is running randomly with the system's mental matrix, with egos, karma, fears, feelings, self-discover from you. And we are all here involved, however we have the ability to redirect and change it because we are awakening our consciousness of it. 4. As a real being. And that is exactly what we are doing at the moment. But because change it, because do not only stop it. Because do I'm here? Do I'm from that statement? So what does I get from this process that is here? And to calm humans, it is observed that agreement to you themselves have defined a soul you consent of himself, because remember one thing, You are everything that exists. They're not only defined even by the manifested existence and the creation of yourself. It is interesting, true. Have you ever seen it from this perspective? Have you ever? Do not never, I think. Do I am in here and now, in memory of myself. You know, you see everything and say, I am do. I am my real being. But what? That is my very soul. I am do. However, I'm not by me, not even as a manifested expression. Because if I define myself as this world, would be so limited, wouldn't it? It is that there would be only the word would exist, knows of you, the reason for which you have defined. There's only point for right the words observe, remains and exist. Nothing would be that is said, because they think that if they have nothing, nothing will be that is said. Because they already in effect nothing, because they have seen being defined if a point or a single manifestation in this world. Thus humans, what I mean is that has not been expectado that after the end, death. It is the same thing with the death, you know, many people who believe that nothing after death comes. There is, however, if any, if there is something after death after the end of life, because I do agree here, however, exist and do say that it is what we have to find true. That is here, there, and the end after the Mayan calendar. So discover it. By now, your real being remembers that you are eternal. You are not temporal. You're a real human being with a real original soul. You're un real ser. Acuérdate de tu real ser, quien tú eres. Remember who you really are. Discover it now. Nadie es más y nadie es menos, porque todos somos uno en la primera fuente. No one is more and no one is less, because we are all one in the first source. October 2013, second year of the new spiral time. Jayaya y amor consciente a cada ser con alma original. A toda la familia sagrada con mucho amor. Jayaya en todas las dimensiones